We are departing Medina. Janet's taking care of business here. You can see here how high the canal is above the landscape in different areas. In some places there's high ground, but there are lower valleys. You tend to have the higher ground on the south side of the canal. That's how it appears. But over here, this is low, so I suspect there's a creek or whatever down there. Well, it proves me wrong, so it's kind of high here. So I think that's just a creek that we're bridging across the valley here. Onward now. The fellow met us, the bridge master. There you watch, there's debris there. The guy who tends the bridges and runs back and forth with his car. He's told us to slow it up for the next bridge because he's got to do a bridge beyond that, and he's also delivering walkers. They are volunteers who walk the canal paths and atop the dams in different areas. Dams are the walls of the canal, just to look for breaches, look for any damage, anything unusual.
This is one more guard gate of the many that we passed through. They're here for isolating areas that are threatened by high water. And we proceed on. There are numerous bridges, and there's a good listing supplied by the New York Canal system that helped us measure our progress, actually. Many of the bridges would have the name up on the bridge or on the abutment. Here you can see a worker here on the path there. He's doing something, probably just cutting some of the grass. Also, besides bridges, there is also at least one case where we went over a culvert that the road went through. So in the next few miles, we didn't get a picture of it because we didn't realize it happened, but we passed over Culvert Road.
Check out the apple orchards. In Medina, downtown, there were metal sculptures, an outline of an apple. And we wondered about that. And I'm thinking it may be because of the apples. There's lots of water here. New York State has the right climate for it. So we'll look that up when we get home. Great looking orchard. We'll go from the apple orchard side, look on the other side of the canal here. The canal maintains the proper level. In this area of the land, it's not much of a cut down deep or not much of a raise over the valleys. We have farmland. Now that would be flooded if this berm wasn't here. So this is a nice area with prosperous farmland. Yesterday was super hot, bright and sunny, very few clouds. I'll just show you here, it's a little cloudy. It makes it a lot more comfortable. There's still a bit of humidity, but today is scheduled to get hot again. Tomorrow is forecast to be cloudy and sprinkly all day with possible thunderstorms, the usual type of building thunderstorm you get later in the day this time of year. So we might make an early stop tomorrow, then 5 p.m. We'll make sure we have a good place to stay. Right now it's just 9 a.m. and very little wind. Everything's calm. We're the only boat on the water. We never saw a single boat go by either way while we were staying in Medina for the evening and in the morning. Okay, this is the Knowlesburg Bridge and it's on its way up. The guy was anticipating our arrival and it's up and we'll go on through. We're going to see about getting to Spencerport today. Here's a vineyard here on the north side and there's this jogger. He's been with us. He had gone up to some point to us and has run back with us. I guess we're pacing him, I guess. He's going to steady 6.5 miles an hour, at least for the last 10-15 minutes. So we're at just at 6.5 miles an hour at the moment. He looks tired. I'm glad we're riding along in the boat. Okay, I think those are more apples right there. Just a little indentation here, a little area. Could have been a turning basin or whatever. It's fairly deep in the middle part, and then it fades out to 2 and 1 foot in the far reaches. There are a couple pilings there you could tie up to, I suppose. So at one time, this might have been exploited as a turning basin or a rest stop. When we got our coffee this morning, they mentioned about a few bridges that have been closed for some time, different areas. It really affects the local people, but some of the bridges are like in some cases a lift bridge, but they've left them stuck in the up position, so it doesn't concern us. But either way, with fixed bridges and so on, if it needs repairs, and no car traffic can go, so that's something. So we're going to slow down right here so we don't wake them. So let's go maybe 4 miles an hour, because I see he's got a man lift there, and if the barge rocks, he might have some jacks down on the barge, though I don't see them. Anyhow, onward we go. Just another bridge, 1 lane across. It happens to be closed to traffic. I think some safety work. The previous one, Presbyterian Road, was needing work. This one is Allen's Bridge. And from a channel subscriber, I'll quote, "I lived as a child about a mile from the canal on a road called Allen's Bridge. Swam in the summer, ice skated in the winter. When I was about 9, I stood on that bridge and said, someday I'll own a boat and go down this canal." He goes on, "I have the boat, but haven't made it yet, though I intend to." Well, the latest I understand is maybe next year. So get that transom fixed, Dave. There's a little more of Allen's Bridge Road. A few homes here. A little path down to the path. On Google Earth and Street View, I remember looking at this closely, seeing is there anywhere we could actually tie up and get some pictures from the bridge. So the remedial work on the previous bridge was to the cement works. They were doing some work, and that looks like that could use something. Probably that side too. Continue east. Eagle Harbor, the bridge master was ready, and we cross. This one pickup to the left, he was actually halfway across the bridge and got a blast. He backed up to get out. These are single lane bridges. There you can see how much we affect traffic. We've got stop traffic there. People at an intersection here, people coming here. It doesn't take long to open and close the bridge, but it does take the manpower, somebody to be available on call, since there are very few boats on the here that they go and do their other jobs and just come on an as needed basis. This is still the end of June. Things might get a little busier after school is completely done. It's June the 25th today. This looks like a resort of some sort with barbed wire. It's got some exercise area outside maybe. But yeah, it's a nice setting. They even have a dock there. That is Gaines Basin Road, and the penitentiary is right there. This is the Main Street Bridge in Albion, and what we were told back in Medina is this thing is down. It's got mechanical problems, so it's down, but it's down in the up position. Okay, so it has some mechanical problems, so it disrupts the flow back and forth. This is a place that does have good facilities to stay overnight. As far as dock wall, I'm not sure what's beyond here, if there's any low wall. Looks like there might be. Yeah, the bridge beyond that, and the second bridge, it is in the down position, so that one is is working. So this is Albion, and it was an alternate. If we had gone farther last night and made better time, we would have stayed here. There are a few more facilities and stores and things like that, restaurants. If you want a McDonald's coffee, if we were not got a coffee back in Medina, we would have stopped here and grabbed ourselves a coffee nearby. The cheap old hobo way, it'd be McDonald's coffee. But we have some really good coffee this morning from a specialty shop. Now they know we're coming. It just went honk, and the bell is going to stop traffic. So the bridge is going to start to lift, so we can maintain our speed. We just put it up, we go 6 miles an hour or so, and we maintain our speed. We want to have pity on the people who had to stop their cars. So the bridge is rising, and welcome to Albion. So so it looks like this is what you get as far as a fairly high cement wall and varying condition. Over here, this is more industrial. So you've got wall before and after that Main Street bridge right there. But you can see it's a fairly well developed downtown. A little pavilion here, Erie Canal Park. And there are rings to tie up here. Some places there are monster cleats. So pick your spot. We've slowed down and talked to people out walking. There are also a few bicyclists. They've already passed us. They were from Medina. They'd stayed overnight there. We saw in the coffee shop. But it's interesting. These are improved. I think that's actually, I don't think it's paved, but it's nice fine gravel. So both sides. This side is grass. But the Erie Canal Trail, there is a trail continuously along its length. And so this is a great place for biking or hiking. So I've got a cousin, I've got to mention about the biking. He's probably already aware of this, but I think he'd really enjoy something like this. By the way, that's Heinsberg Bridge, and there's a bit of a wall there, cement wall, and it is mentioned as somewhere you could tie up if you need to. I don't see any cleats. You probably have to run a rope to something or throw a stake in the ground or drop anchors. But that's one place if you had to, if you're caught in between.
Here is the next lift bridge at Hulberton. It's a suburb of Holley, which we're approaching. After the lift bridge, we come to some guard gates, and then finally we arrive in Holley.
Now we're looking west. We just came through the Holley lift bridge, and this is the nice Holley Park, and we've got services here, got electric. So water on the other side. I'm not sure. Yes, there's a tap, so there's that. There's this park. We're going to go exploring over this way. There's supposed to be some falls. The other thing of note, they do have a pump out. So that's very good if you need a pump out. We don't at this point yet. So we're going to just go for a little walk and then enjoy some lunch. It's just before 12 o'clock. One other thing to note, as we came through this way, a cruiser went through that way, maybe a 34-foot or something like that. And at any speed, they make a wake. And you can see we're rocking a little bit. When it came through, you end up with reflected wakes and so on. So be aware, this is open and you're susceptible to wake. So make sure you've got things tied down. Just take a look here. I hope you saw that. It was a continuous wood wall, so it will work well with your fenders. You won't hook under a dock or anything like that, but just be aware to leave enough slack in your lines, maybe some snubbers. We don't have anything like that. We don't have any line protection for the edge, but overnight you might want that if you have a different deck height. Okay.
We tied up the boat and headed over to the bridge tower, but the bridge operator had left already, so we couldn't talk to him. We looked at the boater facilities. There are washrooms there you can use. That's great, right in the park. Then we headed off into town, down a path through the woods, and visited the village. In the village, it's got a few small restaurants and things like that. Number one disappointment was the little museum was closed that day, as was the ice cream shop. but we still had the Holley Falls to visit. Back into the woods we went and down the path.
Well, we followed the sign directions from the visitor center that are up by the lift bridge, and we visited downtown. Now we're heading to the falls. Okay, we approached the falls. There we are. The canal wall is up there. We're down here, and that's close to the canal wall up there. I like how the falls come down. I'm not sure, but I think it's overflow from the canal. Comes down, meets up with some water there, and continues to drain under the canal. The canal's up there. I guess it's held for for 200 years, so we're good. Things of note: the falls. It's the church birdhouse, and we got young guys fishing here. So I don't know what they're getting here. Smells a little musty. That's all I can say. A musty smell.
The crew of the Erie Hobo refreshed themselves for a few minutes, and then we went on an arduous climb.
There's a path up from the falls. We're out of breath. Very steep, but lots of roots. So kids, don't try this at home. Try it here at the falls.
Also, I wonder they're taking two.
Okay, there's the Tosco.
Fish sandwich!
As we departed the Holley dock, we passed the Holley Falls weir that feeds the falls. As I mentioned earlier, we continued to Brockport. Brockport is a good-sized town with all the things that you might need there, hardware, restaurants, things like that. The dock itself has electricity and water, and there are showers and laundry, and I think there's a pump out. A number of these will come with charges. Just east of Brockport, these homes have no view, even out the second-story window, and a very short backyard.
We're meeting another wide canal boat here on the Erie Canal.
When we get to Spencerport shortly, we're going to see a number of these canal boats. Here's a work barge, and this is at Adams Basin. It's a lift bridge just before Spencerport.
There's a road here that dips down in a valley, comes up right here. We just saw a school bus there disappear. It disappeared down there. Kind of neat. We're coming up to shortly in about probably 2 more miles to Spencerport, where we'll stay tonight at the Spencerport Marina, basically public dock on the wall there, just past the lift bridge. That's the Trimmer Road Bridge, just before Spencerport. And there's a big open area here, basin. You can see there's sort of like an on-ramp for the bridge that comes from way down there, climbs, and you can go here. There's also an on-ramp from that direction too. See the truck coming up, making his turn. This area, these guys must feel Dutch. It's a little like Holland. We just look at the hydro wires, and the land is way behind it, nice and dry.
Once we got to Spencerport, I saw the most boats I'd seen so far in one place at this trip. There were really only 2 suitable spots for us to tie up on that entire wall. A lot of people had stopped there for the night, and it's a great town. The depot or canal building is the visitor center, washrooms, and museum.
Washrooms and showers are on the lower floor of the museum. And Erie Hobo, you just see that Canadian flag right there. So that's the canal.
It turned out to be a hot day, and we enjoyed a shower once we got there, and later on an evening shower as well. In the cool of the evening, then, we visited the downtown. There are quite a few shops and things there. We had an interesting talk with the proprietor or proprietress of the unique shop here, and we enjoyed our ice cream sitting out on the front lawn of the village ice cream shop. So there were a few other things to attend to. The steering on the boat was getting a little mushy, and I was looking at this critically. You can watch one of my videos here on my experience with a Vivor hydraulic system that I installed on the steering just before our trip, if you're interested in that. That was it for this town. We only spent the one night here. It would be a good place to stay if you're going to stay a few nights and relax and visit the town a little more. I'm currently working on episode 4. That will include our travels for the next 2 days. We're spending the night next in Newark, and then we're proceeding on and into the Cayuga-Seneca system to Seneca Falls. See you then.